The first land battle between the English and the French of the 100 Years' War, fought in Brittany on the 30th of September, 1342. On one side stood the English army, led by the Earl of Northampton, comprising knights, men-at-arms, and their secret weapon, the skilled English archers. The English army comprised around 3,000 men. On the other side, Charles of Blois, the claimant Duke of Brittany, commanded a formidable Breton and French force, several times larger than the English, by some estimate around 15,000 men. The formidable French force comprised a diverse array of warriors, including Breton peasants, Genoese crossbowmen, spearmen, and the famous French mounted knights. The English had learned hard lessons from previous battles against the Scots, such as Bannockburn and Halidon Hill. They abandoned reckless mounted charges, instead adopting a new formation. Knights and men-at-arms formed a dismounted corps, while archers took up positions on the flanks, ready to unleash a hail of arrows. As the French launched their first attack, a disorganized mass of Breton peasants, the English archers unleashed a volley of arrows, scattering the ill-prepared force. The French were halted, puzzled by their quick defeat. The English archers unleashed their deadly rain of arrows, volley after volley mercilessly demolishing the French lines. The air was filled with the whistling sound of arrows descending upon their targets, piercing through armor, and finding their mark with deadly precision. The French forces, caught in the relentless onslaught, struggled to maintain their formation and were thrown into disarray by the relentless barrage. The once unified ranks of the French army now became a chaotic mass, their formation shattered by the devastating impact of the English archers. Breton peasants scattered, desperately seeking cover from the relentless storm of arrows. As the hailstorm momentarily subsided, the battle paused, providing the French forces with a brief respite. Amidst the chaos and disarray, the French commanders swiftly took action, working to reorganize their ranks and restore order to their forces. The Earl of Northampton's army had besieged the town of Morlaix. Undeterred, Charles of Blois, driven by his unwavering resolve to relieve the trapped town, once again led a charge towards the English lines. This time, hundreds of French mounted knights thundered towards the English, and their steeds galloping with unrelenting force as the English longbowmen raised their bows. In a harrowing symphony of chaos, the battlefield was engulfed by a torrential rain of arrows, descending upon the unfortunate victims below. The piercing screams of horses intertwined with the anguished cries of men as their bodies succumbed to the merciless onslaught. They got arrow after arrow through their bodies, as each arrow finding its way through the armor's weak spots with brutal precision. The battlefield bore witness to a grim tapestry, its fabric intricately woven with the lifeless bodies of the fallen, stitching together a haunting tableau of death and devastation. The clash was fierce and unforgiving as the French knights, driven by unyielding courage, thrusted themselves into the deadly embrace of the English spears. The knights employed their expert cavalry tactics as they charged. Mounted on their majestic horses, these seasoned warriors exemplified the art of medieval warfare. Each knight carried the weight of their family's honor and the expectations of their noble lineage, bound by a code of conduct steeped in honor. Wave after wave, the French knights charged into the spears, and time again they either fell into the many traps the English had prepared, or impaled by a pike. As the battle raged on, The French forces, sensing the overwhelming resistance of the English and recognizing the precariousness of their position, made the strategic decision to pull back and initiate a tactical retreat, regrouping to reassess their approach and preserve their fighting strength for future engagements. While the French forces strategically withdrew, the English, realizing their dwindling arrow supply, swiftly seized the opportunity to reposition themselves. Recognizing the advantages offered by the forest terrain, they moved their entire forces into the woods. Additionally, the English utilized the forest to their tactical advantage, not only seeking cover from the French knights, but also serving as a strategic reserve of arrow ammunition. This allowed their bowmen to replenish their supplies and now shoot the knights from behind the cover of the trees. Recognizing their tactical disadvantage and acknowledging defeat, the French knights ultimately decided to retreat for good, realizing that they had been outwitted by the English forces. This concludes the Battle of Morlaix, the first land battle of the 100 Years' War. If you are eager to continue the battles and use similar tactics as the Earl of Northampton, you may find Conroi, the art of medieval warfare on cardgamecourier.com, the definitive card game for tactical warfare and strategic thinking.